Hello, hello. This is Yuri with Let's Talk Moving Podcast. And with me today, I got Clifford Starks, a former professional UFC fighter and currently a trailblazing coach for entrepreneurs looking to live their greatest life, transforming life's challenges into stepping stones and supporting those he serves to do the same. With a zeal for living in the next 11, a realm beyond comfort zones, Clifford inspires entrepreneurs to shock the world and themselves, supporting leaders to embrace their journey, stretch your limits, and unleash extraordinary potential. How you doing today, Clifford?
Hey, Yuri, I'm doing amazing. Appreciate you having me on.
Man, I'm digging the background info because it's like it makes me go, and the next future champion of the world. Anyway, sorry, I apologize.
100%. I
I can't I
love it.
can't
I
help
love
it.
it.
Makes me want to do that, Like I want to be like makes me want to be the next Don King.
Yes, yes.
Something like that. I don't have the hair. I don't think I don't think I could handle that. But anyway, so Clifford, you and I have crossed paths on multiple moving industry related podcasts. How did you
Yes.
get into the moving industry and how does your current work connect to the industry?
Yeah, yeah. It was kind of interesting. Actually, my business partner owns a moving company. And so from there, I wanted to understand the industry more. And I went through Louis Massaro's
Mhm.
information and I got into his network. And I just started finding really cool people within the industry. And what I've learned, so Lewis says, if you can make it in the moving industry, you can make it in any industry. And I would have to 100% agree because it is not an easy industry to play in.
No,
And
no.
that's where I was like, oh, I want to understand this. I want to understand the marketing, the sales, the systems, the processes, and see what works and what doesn't. And so kudos to you guys. Everyone in the moving industry, respect.
Well, thank you, thank you. It's certainly a journey, no matter which
Oh,
which
yeah.
part of it you're doing, whether you're a vendor like myself, but of course, I've done all the parts. I've been on physical job, I've been in the office, I've done operations, I've done dispatch, I've done everything except driving a tractor trailer. And now for a word from our sponsors. If you're a moving business owner, you may have already heard of Moversville, an email marketing service that helps moving companies increase, repeat, and referral business. But have you heard of Moversville Connect? Moversville Connect is an incredible resource for all things moving. They feature an array of vendors and services that cater specifically to the moving industry. You can find companies that provide moving software, moving sales services, marketing services, moving equipment providers, and much, much more. Visit moversville.com today to learn more.
Yeah. I haven't done the dispatch and I haven't done the driving. I am sure I would wreck.
No, I mean
That is not
I've
my
driven
skill
a
set.
26-foot truck to a job, so and done all that
Nice.
and packing and everything else, but I have not I have not been on the tractor trailer. So okay, so that's interesting. So how does your past experience in the ring impact what you do today?
You know, life's about constantly learning, growing, and adjusting.
Hmm.
No one gets inside of a cage saying, "Man, I'm probably going to get knocked out." No, you're looking to apply those lessons so that you can win and be on top. Have your hand raised at the end of the day. I think the moving industry is much the same. You didn't get in the moving industry saying, "Man, I could really use some problems and challenges and issues." No, you got into the moving industry because you wanted a better life, probably. You wanted more freedom. You wanted more time. And it's constantly learning to step back and asking, why am I doing what I'm doing? And always asking yourself, why am I doing what I'm doing? And am I doing the things that serve me or am I not serving myself at all?
Interesting, interesting. Of course, you guys know that the Clifford here is basically the second person from the professional ring world that we got in here. So Clifford being with UFC, we've had Mario Reyes here before, who was
Yes.
uh who was a boxer as well. So yeah, it's interesting. And my son is taking boxing lessons. So
Nice. How
gonna
old's your
be
son?
10.
Very.
Does your company need more creative marketing and ad campaigns to improve traffic and organic leads? Well, Moving Sales Professionals has a solution for you. We have partnered with social media marketing agency that has over 300 million views on their ads and videos across social media. and they have generated over $35 million for their clients over the last 10 years alone. Their services include content creation, social media ads, pay-per-click campaigns, website and funnel development, Google Ads, email marketing campaigns, lead generation, and much, much more. For limited time only, they have discounted rates for their services. Sign up for a free consultation call with us via our Calendly link on our website or below this video.
Cool.
So yeah,
Very
he's
cool.
doing he's all over the place, honestly, because he plays hockey and then he's in the science club and the chess club, and now it's he also does boxing at the local gym. So it's yeah, there's a mixture of things. So it's gonna be yeah.
He's
It's,
experiencing it all. I like that. That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah, it's like it's interesting. He just joined the science club, so we'll see how that goes. He's definitely doing a lot of things, but I think it also goes into diversify. So I think all as businessmen, we definitely want to find points of and ways to diversify our business, especially in the slow season. Like obviously we are all experiencing, we're coming out of hopefully soon here, with March being right around the corner. So that's what we're trying to do here. So Clifford, what are your
Yeah.
plans for this year? What are you thinking? What's in store for Clifford in 2024?
Yeah, my biggest thing is I look to figure out how to be a solution for people's problems. The biggest problems that I'm seeing consistently is how people look at the problem. So they'll see a problem, and like I use the moving industry, for instance. You guys are so good at being able to solve problems. Like I'm generally speaking right now.
Hmm.
And sometimes that can be a benefit. And then sometimes that can also be a curse. So the guy that I'm connected with, he's really good at putting systems in place because he only wants to have to solve a problem once. He doesn't want to
We
have to
all
solve the
only want to
problem.
solve it once,
Yeah, that's the
ultimately.
thing. Yeah. Yeah. And so, I've been guilty of it myself where I'll just, oh, I solve the problem, I solve the problem, solve the problem, but I didn't create the system to ultimately solve the problem consistently.
Right.
And so I have my own set of coaches helping me just because we all have blind spots and we can't see the forest from the trees. And even with what you're talking about, so sometimes a person needs to shit or get off the pot and we get
Right.
ourselves in trouble and say, well, I'm going to drag my feet and eventually, and when this happens, and oh, I'll put this together at this. And it's our job to let them see the pain that they're putting themselves in so
Mhm.
that we can be the solution for them.
Sure. And you provide the solution in terms of helping people with their systems and stuff like that. Me,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
obviously the solution for anyone's sales goals in the future. Why go through the pain of building a sales team, which is quite a bit of a
Oh,
pain
yeah.
these days, when you
Oh,
have
yeah.
one at your fingertips
Yeah.
that's
100%.
already built and doing what needs to be done in order to be successful that way. That's what we provide, of
Yes.
course. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, we want to figure out what those pain points are because ultimately, you want to put in systems in place to make sure that you avoid future problems. Because if you're constantly running into the same wall over and over and over again,
Oh, it's
maybe you need
painful.
to put something in place to avoid that wall, you know?
Yeah. 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 100%. Like when you have something that can ultimately make your life easier consistently forever, well, you're probably better off doing that now than waiting 5 and 10 years to be like, that thing that I should have done, probably should have done that.
Right. The other part too is that right now we're obviously our slow season is once again I'm gonna say is coming to an end here pretty soon. So if we have a
Yep.
problem like that, now would be the time to get it fixed before the season starts. Because once our phones are ringing off the hook, and once we got the trucks running all over the place, left and right, solving those issues are going to compound themselves because that's how the cookie crumbles. Where basically once you run into one problem, they start to get more and more and more. It tends to be on the same problem, and it grows. And you have it's like one of those blisters. If you don't take care of it and you clean it out, it's going to fester and it's going to get worse and it's going to get infected and it's going to like the whole thing will blow up on you.
Yeah. And another thing that I learned as a fighter, you get very fast measurements because people don't like getting punched or kicked per se. So you learn really, really quickly. Um, if you don't have something to measure to help you go like, oh wait, I'm making mistakes. The mistake, just as you said, Yuri, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger until you eventually see the mistake. So you want to find the mistake earlier so that you don't have to deal with the pain of a bigger mistake.
Right. It's kind of the same thing. If you have a foreman that's out there that does not know how to talk to people, that
Mm-hmm.
somehow he's very good at his job, but he doesn't know how to talk to people. It's the same thing as in the ring when you're getting hit in the face without putting up a block. You know,
Yeah.
if you're not going to get put up a block, you're going to keep getting hit, and sooner or later you're going to get knocked out, right? So
Yeah.
it's the same thing with a bad foreman. If they
Mm-hmm.
might be great at the job, but at the end of the day, if they don't, they're the ones that's supposed to be in charge. They're the ones that's
Yeah.
supposed to take care of a situation before it becomes a situation. If these
Mm-hmm.
people, if they need anger management and they need all sorts of things, like that's not somebody that you make a foreman. And I understand that
Yeah.
person may handle a job. So either you send somebody with them that's going to handle all the talking,
Mm-hmm.
or that person, frankly, needs to be a helper and not a foreman.
Yeah.
And if they
Agreed.
have a problem with that, and if they have a problem with that, that maybe they shouldn't be working for you because at the end of the day, this person can create a lot more problems for you than their other attributes are going to help. Either that, or you have to once again figure out a team that's going to take care of these problems so that they don't grow. Because at the end of the day, we as company owners, we don't want negative publicity of any kind. So we want as
No.
many positive things out there for you as possible because if we don't, it's going to affect your business. At the
Yeah,
end of the day,
that
it's your
negative
money,
stuff
it's
spreads
your
fast.
family, right?
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. Like, yeah, no negativity because it spreads so quickly and it's not a fun place to be in. I love the solutions that you gave because, yeah, make your life easier, make your business life easier. One thing that I learned as I was going through my process, I go, oh my goodness, life is business and business is life. Everything that affects your business is going to affect your life, and everything that affects your life is going to affect your business. So you got to be able to um, harmonize them correctly.
Yeah, positivity is something that's infectious. And
Yeah,
negativity, unfortunately, is also infectious. So
absolutely.
so if you have positive people tend to attract more positive people. And if it's
Hmm.
somebody that's really positive, maybe they'll get somebody that's negative out of their shell, right?
Hmm.
But then if you have some people that are really, really negative, they can bring the whole place together and they may actually turn positive people the opposite direction. So I think you need
Yep.
to identify your positives and your negatives on your team.
Yeah.
And when you identify your negatives, is it negatives that can be turned into positives?
Hmm.
Or is it a step that you need to take and get them off your team before it becomes a much larger problem? Because at the end of the day, if you're not controlling that situation, that one person can become a cancer and affect everybody that's working in your company and end up being the demise of what you're trying to build.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
I think all of us are guilty, myself included, of holding on to certain people for too long at times
Yeah.
because we focus too much on their positive attributes. And sometimes we don't realize that their negative attributes are actually overshadowing the positives. And
Yeah.
I think we all wait too long to pull that trigger. Because I mean, I don't know anybody that likes to fire people personally. I mean, I'm certainly
Yeah.
not that way. I
Yeah.
don't like to fire people.
Hmm. Yeah. No, you're 100% right. And that's, I speak about the coaching because sometimes we have an idea of what we're supposed to do, but we're still human. It's not like I'm a robot and I can just do that. Like, no, there's feelings attached to everything that we do. And so knowing that we have the people who can support us in making the, sometimes they're called the tough decisions,
Mhm.
making those decisions that are necessary for your business and for your life.
Right, and for that matter, you also wanna make sure that you have a manager of some sort in place that can make those tough decisions when you're not there.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
sometimes it's like it's not having that person there also makes a difference because the person that's in charge when you're away, that person needs to be good at making tough decisions.
Yep.
Because tough decisions, if they, it's look, if you're on vacation as an owner, sooner or later you're going to need to take one. Hopefully, you're in position to take multiple vacations so that your family life is, in a good place, just like your business life is. And those two obviously go hand in hand. You want your business life to do well, you want your family life to do well, and those two things fuel each other ultimately. If you're
Hmm.
doing well in business, you have time to spend more, you're able to spend more time with your family. If you spend more
Yep.
time in your family, when you come back to the business, you got even more motivation to do even better and to put better systems in place and to do, you know, reach different goals, set different goals for yourselves, right? So I think it's extremely important to do that as well. So having that manager who is not going to just push that problem down the hill for when you come back from vacation and you have this huge ball of problem waiting for you when you get back, which is going to kill your whole vacation mood, frankly,
Oh
coming
yeah.
back and all the positivity that you brought back with you. And here comes this negative thing that's waiting for you, right? You need
Yeah.
somebody that can handle that for you, that knows exactly what you want as the owner, that
Yep.
knows exactly what needs to be done, what you would do if you were there, and do exactly what you would have done.
Yeah. 100%.
So that's I think, I mean, it's not just moving industry, it's any business really. You need to be able to make those hard decisions, and you need to have people that are, once again, that are leading for you when you're away, and you do want to be able to have that time away because you know otherwise, we're going to have, our brain is going to explode when we're trying to do, and where a million things are going through your head when you're trying to run a business. I mean,
Hmm.
realistically, you don't know what you're getting yourself into until you're there.
No. I learned that one too.
Yeah.
And that's another fighting lesson as well, because the first time I fought, I could have sworn it was going to be way easier than what it was.
Yeah. Suddenly you're getting hit and you're like, oh, maybe I wouldn't. I don't know. I'll just knock this guy out. First punch, I'm done. I
Yeah.
can go home. I
Yeah.
have a margarita.
Yeah. It didn't happen that way at all. Yeah. 100%.
It's like, okay, he's a little faster than I thought he'd be. And that's kind and that's basically, we can put that analogy with, in terms of fighting, we can take that back towards life. Life hits you a
Yeah.
lot harder than you'd ever expect it to. And
Oh, yeah.
and most of the time you're not ready.
Yeah. Yeah. I made a post that said, when times are tough, I look up. And I look up because it reminds me how small my problems are and it allows me to face them. If I, and I notice a lot of people, they get down or they look down and they start, I'm like, oh, they're making the problem bigger than it is. And when you make the problem bigger than it is, that's how your energy is going to show up. When your energy shows up like that, you're not in a good place.
I think part of the problem is people tend to overthink things. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
you can see I'm overthinking things by having an extra headset on my head. But yeah, I mean, that's how busy you are sometimes, that things go on and you realize, oh, okay, I have one extra thing that I have to worry about, when
Mm,
in reality maybe you have less issues, or ma- it's like, we as people, we tend to overthink things at times. So
yeah.
sometimes we need to simplify. Sometimes things are
Yeah.
not as complicated as we may think they are.
What's so crazy on that is, so many times it's about doing less instead of doing more, just off of what you're saying. And usually that is the name of the game. We kind of get conditioned to do more than we have to do. And it's like, okay, well, what do we have to do and why do we have to do it? And then saying, well, why do we have to do it that way? Well, what if we remove this? And what if we remove this over here? Even creating a system like, do I make complex systems sometimes? Absolutely. Make my life more complex than it has to be. And I'm always adjusting and figuring out the simple way to do things, to make things work in the way, get the result without all the headache.
Absolutely. So what would your recommendation be for the prospective moving company owners or current moving company owners that are listening to this podcast?
The biggest thing, find some sort of mentor that you can connect with, because you don't know what you don't know. And I like saying it's almost like you're going down a landmine field. If you don't know where those landmines are, just to take a guess, that's not a fun place to be. The other thing is, align yourself with who you are. Create from a place of, if I had a perfect world, what would that look like for me? Get really, really creative. Have some fun. Write all those things down, and write down the things that you don't want too. Because when you know what you do want and you know what you don't want, you're less likely to get into those pitfalls of, what did I get myself into? And you can also show that to your mentor too, and they can help you with the process.
Right, absolutely. And I think it's also whether you're doing business or not, I think the main thing is that you want to get yourself to a place where you're comfortable in your own skin, where you're comfortable with who you are. It doesn't matter, if you have a, you know, six pack or a one pack, it doesn't matter what you are, but mentally in your head, you need to be able to look in the mirror and say, okay, this is me. And
Yeah,
I'm comfortable with me. Are
100%.
there things that we all want to change about ourselves? Absolutely. There's
Mm-hmm.
not no matter who you run into, there's not a single person in this world, there's not a single person in this life that does not want to change something, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think inherently we all want to have a comfort level with who we are. Who are you? Are you comfortable with Clifford? Are you comfortable with Yuri? Are you comfortable with who you are? Because once you have that, you're able to focus on other things without having that monkey on your shoulder,
100%. Yep.
But in terms of mentors, yeah, well, you got two right here in front of you.
Yeah.
So you can certainly reach out to us. But
Yes.
Clifford, it's awesome to have you.
Yeah, Yuri, I appreciate you having me and appreciate the
Absolutely.
questions. And yeah, hope I was able to serve your audience.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. And we'll have some links for you guys. Of course, please like, please subscribe, please support what we're doing. Uh, thank you very much. And as I always say, let the world moves on its own, so let the professionals move yours for you. Thank you for joining us for our podcast, Clifford. Thank you very much for joining us.